guys, welcome back. I thought today I would finally do a video of my tractor. This is my all-time favorite tractor. I've had probably 100 tractors over the years, but this one has always been my favorite. This is a 1968 Sears Custom 10XL. It's a 10 horsepower Tecumseh and a manual transaxle. I picked this one up about 11 years ago, finished the restore in November 10 years ago. So for the past 10 years, I have been having fun and doing work and all kinds of stuff with this old tractor. Alright, let me bring you in close and I'll show you the tractor itself and a lot of the modifications I've done over the years. Let's get to it. Even the headlights work. Alright, let's start out with the paint job. I did a full repaint on this tractor. Originally it was orange and white. Everything that was white, I painted black. I think it looks a lot better with the black and orange than it did with the white and orange. With the white and orange, it just looked too much like a riding lawnmower. Alright, let's see. What have we done to it? That's not the original grill or hood. The hood is from a 64 Sears. And the grill, I believe that came off of a 1970 Sears Compact 7. Some of you guys may not be familiar with that tractor. It's real close to the Custom, but it's got a couple of differences. That grill did not come with headlights. Those headlights came out of a mid-80s Murray riding lawnmower. I liked them. They had a nice metal back. They have a nice metal back. So I thought they were pretty good for that. They fit well, too. They fit within the openings pretty well. What do you think? You want to open the hood? Yeah, let's open the hood. Let's take a peek in there. See if I can do this one-handed. You got to pull out both sides. Because, see these bumps? See that bump? It goes on to that bump. And that holds the hood shut. So you have to spread the hood in order to release it. The engine is a 10 horsepower Tecumseh cast iron. It's not a cast iron sleeve. It's a true cast iron block. The heavy, very heavy engine. The starter for it is old school. It's a starter slash generator. When you put power to it, it'll turn the engine over. When you take power away from it and spin it, it will generate power. It's a big beast. It's made by Delco. The body on that is really similar to a small block Chevy starter from a Chevrolet V8 engine. But this, they put a pulley on the end. They really should have put a bigger belt setup on this. I may see if I can upgrade that in the future. It only runs a 3/8 belt. That belt doesn't last long. I get about 2 seasons out of the generator belt. Then I have to put a new one on. I'll show you why. Let's see if it actually does it or not. Usually it slips like crazy. That figures this time it's going to turn over. Because you're watching, it'll turn right over. Usually it slips at first and then starts spinning. Alright, on the engine, the original carburetor for this engine was broken right off of it. At the time, I could not find a Walbro carburetor. This had the Walbro with the fuel pump attached right to the carburetor. I couldn't find a replacement. The only one I could find was priced ridiculous. So I ended up picking up a carburetor that was made for a 16 horse Tecumseh and adapting it to work on here. I made my own linkage for the governor. Reshaped the choke pull. As you can see, that's all reshaped, but check this out. It's the shortest pull choke ever. Fully closed, fully open. Fully closed, fully open. If you look at the handle over here, if the camera will focus, it just pulls out a little bit and in. Out and in. Works great too. I thought for sure it was going to end up being a problem, but I've been using it for 10 years. The fuel pump is just a pulse pump, which works by, it's connected to the vent down on the crankcase on the engine, and when the piston goes down, it creates pressure down in the bottom of the crankcase, which pushes against the pump and pushes the fuel to the carburetor. When the piston goes up in the engine, it creates a vacuum in the bottom of the engine, and the vacuum goes over to the tank and pulls fuel out of the tank. So it's a pull-push. Pulls it out of the tank, pushes it into the carburetor. I replaced the original fuel shutoff. Originally, it had a petcock on the bottom of the tank, and it's just almost impossible to get your fingers in there to close it. So I put an elbow on there and put a ball valve in line, and this can be easily accessible with the hood open or closed. It's right there. Right, that's open, that's closed. The ignition system, I also reworked on this. The bracket that mounts the pickup unit behind the flywheel, I modified it so that I could get more timing advance out of this. Advancing the timing will give you more power, but it makes it harder to crank the engine over. But with having that big monster cranking this engine over, I don't have a problem. I advanced it quite a bit, and that has no problem cranking it over. Let's see, on the top of the engine, I ended up getting my hands on a brand new NOS head for this. It's a head and head gasket, brand new. Before I installed it, I did shave that head down some to increase the compression ratio. Again, increasing compression gives you more power, makes it harder to turn over. Not a problem. I don't have to worry about, like with a Briggs engine, stripping out a plastic gear. That thing ain't going nowhere. All right, let's move on a little further. The exhaust, let's go around to the other side. The exhaust I had to make because of the tractor pulling club that we were in. Close that hood again. The rules for that club required that the exhaust be of a similar design to original, and if it was not similar, it was required that it go straight up. So this was as close as I could get to the original. The original had a big bulge here and then a little pipe that came out. But this is what I came up with, even though it's far from stock because that muffler is completely hollow. There's nothing in there. I removed the baffles right out of it. That's why it's bolted, because this section I separated in order to just hollow that whole thing out. So now it's just a straight pipe. It just blows into it and blows right out. No restriction. The pulley setup on this is fantastic. Let's see, I'll show you why. See back there, we're getting some weird shadows from the meshwork on the grill shining through. See, it's giving it a snakeskin pattern on the belts. But on the back, close to the engine, I have the two belts, one that runs the drive unit, the transaxle, and the other one runs the mower deck. And this pulley is for front attachments. It's a front PTO. They had Sears made snow blowers, which I had some snow blowers for these in the past. They made a generator, which I really want the generator. There's a generator that attaches right to the front of the tractor and is driven by that PTO. They also made a wood chipper. And what I would also like to build in the future is a sawmill, so that I can have a sawmill set up somewhere outside and be able to drive this right up to it, hook the belt on, and cut up some big pieces of lumber. So that's the front PTO. I have a guard that goes on here. I'll show it to you. That guard bolts inside of the cover, so it goes inside and it goes right there. It's a belt tensioner, stops the belt from falling off. I don't have anything attached right now, so once I put put an attachment on, then I can put this cover back on. But for now, I just leave it off. I have it kept in a safe place where it won't get lost. The mower deck that's on here, that mower deck, I don't know if you remember that. Some of you may have seen the video. I did a full restore on that mower deck. Oh, was it 2 or 3 years ago now? I've been mowing with it ever since. It's held up really well. The only issue that I ended up having was the wheels. The wheels that were on here had plastic bearings. They were already replacements, but they were plastic bearings and they didn't last long. That's a heavy mower deck to be sitting on plastic bearings. Because when this is all of the weight is sitting on those wheels when it's down. Let's come back around to this side. Another item that was from because of the tractor pulling is I have a lock. A lot of times when we'd be pulling, the sled was heavy. It would strain it and end up going pop, popping it into neutral. So I had a couple of times that I was having a really good pull and that popped into neutral. So I made a lock, which is really simple. Just flip it up, push down a little bit, it locks right on. And same thing, push down a little bit and it pops right off. But if you don't push down, it will not let that shifter release. Again, it's nice and easy to pop off. So I never had the problem again. Once I installed that, it stayed in low range when I put it there. I had shift locks on this shifter too. You can see the holes. But I ended up removing those. I didn't need them. After I stopped doing the tractor pulls, I didn't need that anymore. And I didn't need having the pins sticking up. So the shifter that's on here, this is not the original shifter. I'm going to pause just for a second and I'll show you what was on here and then I'll explain. This style shifter was on the tractor. But what happened was I am evidently very rough on the shifters. So the original one, because it came forward and went out, it rocked side to side to the gears. I ended up, I was stuck in snow. And I went from reverse to first and back and forth too quick and snapped off the original shifter. So I ended up taking a shifter from a Sears Suburban, which is a straight shaft. The cup down on the bottom and all the pivot point is all the same. The only thing I had to do was the end of the shaft that goes into the transmission. I had to cut it off and then grind a new ball onto the end and the little groove that's in it. But now it works perfect. This one will put up with any kind of beating I throw at it and still keep on working. So that's what happened with the shifter. I think I might be a little too rough. I don't know if you remember that tractor. Just a month or so ago, I had to make a new shifter for that one too because I did the same thing. I snapped that one off. The decal that's down there, this tractor, the previous owner had let it sit outside for about 10 years. So all of the lettering had worn right off. I found on eBay some replacement decals that just stick right on top of that plate. That one's getting a little beat up now. Again, it's just a cheap vinyl sticker. It's been on there for 10 years. When I found it, though, I bought a few of them, so I have extras. I can replace that and put a nice, fresh new one on there if I need to. The other labels, well, those I could not find replacements for. See, that one's pretty beat. And the dashboard, too. The dashboard's a little rough, but I haven't found decals yet. Eventually, I'll find some. While we're pointing at the dash, when I did the restore, I put an hour meter on here. And since restoring it, I have put 331.7 hours on this tractor. When the tractor is running, it records the hours, but while the engine's running, the meter shows RPM. So it's an hour meter and tachometer. The previous owner of this tractor, he maintained his yard, his acre and a half, for 30 plus years with this. He put over 900 hours on it. And since I've rebuilt it, I've put over 300 hours on it. The tractor's got a lot of time in it. Let's see, the seat came from a mid-70s Sears tractor. And different style tractor, but mid-70s Sears. I still have the original seat spring underneath of it. Let's see. Actually, we walked away from the dash. Get back to the dash. The headlight switch I replaced, which at the beginning of the video you saw that the headlights do actually work. The throttle cable, I had to replace the cable itself, but this assembly right here was still good. I just needed to put a new cable on it. The choke is brand new. Camera's not focusing. It's trying to look at the steering wheel. That choke is the pull, the cable, the whole thing is brand new. Well, it was brand new 10 years ago. It still has the original key switch in it. This is one of those weird ones that the battery connects directly to the key switch, and then the key switch connects directly to the starter generator. All right, one more thing on the hood, on the grill I mean. Down here, you see that little tiny button? I don't have the horn in it anymore, but that used to be for a horn. I had a car horn mounted under the hood. When I did the tractor pulls, there was a lot of times the flagman wasn't paying attention, and he's the one that tells you when to go. So I had a horn in there so I could beep the horn to get his attention. Hey, hey, come on, let's go. I want to pull. All right, let's talk about the wheels. The wheels that are on the front of this, these came off of a 1964 Sears Custom tractor, Custom 6, I believe. These are the narrow ones. These wheels are hard to find. They're a lot skinnier than what these tractors normally had. The tires I bought off of eBay, those are, I believe, D-Stones tri-rib. They've actually held up really well. Those are 10 years old. And if you want real good steering, when you're not going to slip and slide, well, let me tell you, those tires do an awesome job. If I'm cruising along at top speed and I just crank the wheel, these tires will leave 3 slices. Each tire will leave 3 slices in the ground in a half circle shape where you turn, because those ribs just dig right into the ground. So high-speed turns on the lawn, not recommended. The rear wheels, those came off of a early 70s John Deere. It's an 8-inch wide rim. The rim, offset on that rim I wasn't real crazy about. It put the tire assembly in too far, so I added some spacers in there. Let me pause this and I'll show you a little clip. I recently did some work in the back here, and I'll show you a little clip of what's hiding behind the wheel weights and what's hiding behind the rim. I got the wheel weight off, as you can see in there. Can you see that? It's kind of dark in here right now because we have a power outage going on. I got my nice chrome Krager SS center cap in there and my 5 chrome lug nuts. Behind that is a wheel spacer. Oh, it did not. I have a feeling I'm going to bring you in closer for a closer look at this. If my tripod will let go of you. It won't let go. I have the cast iron hub. It's a big hub. And then I have the wheel spacer on there to get that wheel out a little more. And give me some nice studs to put my chrome lug nuts on. So that's what's behind these. It's a pretty stout setup in there. It's very strong. Those hubs are not the original hubs to this tractor. These tractors originally have a 3-bolt hub. These have the full 5-bolt, and it's a much beefier setup. The originals had 2 set screws that held the hub to the axle. These hubs have 3. When I used to do the tractor pulls, I had the weights out here, and I had 2 sets inside. So there was 2 wheel weights on the inside of each rim. And I had back then I had my wheelie bars and all of that on here. Show you a picture. I'll bring up a picture right now and show you what this used to look like from the back when I did the tractor pulls. So while you guys were looking at that picture, I put the center link to the 3-point hitch back on. I had a clevis on there because I was towing something with a chain. The 3-point hitch is a recent addition. I put that on here, I think 2 years ago. It does work fantastic. Even with it being controlled by a handle over here, it works really well. The toolbox under there is also a recent addition. It's going to come back out of there. I just haven't decided what color I want to paint it. I don't know if I want to do it orange or if I want to do it black. I also have the tail light that goes onto where you can see that circle on it. I have a tail light that mounts there. The rear tires are another item that I got really lucky on. I found those on eBay. They were brand new, NOS, never used, original Sears tires. They're a 23 by 950 on a 12-inch rim. But brand new, and these were for an early 70s Sears ST16, a Suburban, the big tractors. I picked these up cheap. They were, I think, with shipping, it was $50, I believe, is what I paid for these tires. Again, it was 10 years ago, but even 10 years ago, 50 bucks for these, $25 each, I thought was an awesome deal. And I've had agricultural tires on this, and let me tell you, these do way better than the agricultural tires. The agricultural tires like to just dig right down. These will slip grab, slip grab, slip grab, and eventually pull you out instead of just digging down. I did way better at the tractor pulls once I put these on and got rid of the agriculturals. Again, it was just a lucky find. Can you see it? Yeah, see it. Sears. Look at that. Made in USA. And I'm going to flip you upside down so that we can see that too. Alright, here we go. Back over. No more Krager SS cap in there. Still has the chrome lug nuts, but I lost one of the caps. It's probably somewhere out on my lawn. I'll run across it one of these days. Did we forget anything? I think we about covered it, except just talking about some of the things that I've done with this tractor over the years. Like I said, I started out doing the tractor pulls. It's what I originally built this one for. Then our last year in Massachusetts, we were already in the process of moving here. I had gotten rid of most of the other tractors. At one point, when we first got here, this is all we had. This tractor and that one right there. That's my wife's, and this one's mine. We sold off everything, including the snow plowing tractor that I had. So for the last year we were there, which included 2 blizzards, I had a plow on the front of this one. 8 driveways I plowed out in the winter of 2013-2014. That's the last time me or this tractor has seen any snow. But since then, since summer 2014, every year I've been cutting my grass with this. 2 acres of grass every week. All right, I guess that's it. I think I covered just about everything. I don't think I missed anything. I'm going to put up a couple of pictures now. One picture will be what it looked like shortly after I first got it. The only thing that's different on it was the tires that were on the back of it were completely flat, and the seat was missing. So I'll show you a picture now with, I already had put a seat on it and put tires that held air. So I'll show you that now.